Hey everybody, welcome to Get Lit with Adera. And unfortunately, we don't have doobies and we're not smoking up today, but we are talking about how to live a lighter lifestyle, something that lifts you up, makes you feel really freeing and letting go of the crap that is not serving us anymore. And today I'm here with the amazing Smith Banfield. Her and I met last December in Nicaragua with the other fabulous Chantelle Adams and the rest of the crew. And we talked a lot about how clearing our space and organizing our space and living with less actually creates a more fulfilling life. And so this is Smith's expertise. Welcome, Smith from NYC.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So good to see your shining face again.
You too. So tell us a little bit about how you have seen in your own business here how people are really stuck with all of their stuff.
Yeah, I have to say I was someone who had a lot of stuff and I had attachment to it and I felt it very deeply. And I had an experience when I was in about 22. I was done with college and moving out of my house. I parked my car in Brooklyn at my boyfriend's place overnight, and in the morning, all my stuff was gone. And was like this lesson of like, how important are these things in our life? And I had my camera equipment. I was going to be a photographer. I had all these things. And my last two paychecks, like everything I had was gone. And what I recognized is it would actually, the number one thing it did for me is it motivated me because I needed to get a job. I needed to make money so I could replace these things. And then when I even just replaced my camera, I got my dream camera. The other cameras I never loved. And I sort of saw it as like, sometimes we have to let go of our past to really step into our future of who we want to be. And, you can see that with people, generally I don't want to pick on older people, but like when you've lived in a home for a long time, that is it's like there is a holding on to the way things used to be because they don't see anything for their future. And, there's always a future. There's always something else. We always have the opportunity to move forward. And so I look at the stuff that isn't serving a purpose, isn't impacting our lives positively as just sort of like these shackles that are holding us in place. And it's also like the piling of stuff on top of other things that tends to happen as you run out of space is like, that's just stagnant energy. It's just keeping you stuck. So it's all like this big pile of cement, right? And it's like meaningless. And there are people who argue with me that, oh, well, it helps me remember. And it's like, I've been trying to connect, like, what is it about the physical object that's like evidence that this thing happened? Like for me, I take photos because I love experiences. And so photographing the experiences, I've had to even learn to let that go because I'm not in the moment when I'm taking photos. So there's like a lot of different ways to go around in this world and I'm not here to say it's wrong to hold on to things and it's wrong to, take too many photos or buy too many things. But you have to address of how those things make you feel. And when they start feeling more like a burden than uplifting, then that's when you really have to let go. And it hurts. It hurts. It's a rite of passage to let go of these things.
So I want to get back to letting go of things because I think that's very important. And another topic that I really love that we spoke about was the amount of advertising and push that media gives us of like having to have all of these things and then people getting worked up and overwhelmed or about doing it all and having it all. And really it's just causing chaos and it doesn't make you happy. So what the hell?
No. And it's so true because what I've noticed is the peak moment of like joy you get in the purchase is just before you make the decision. It's like the anticipation. Once you click the button or pay the cashier, you're back to your old life. You're in that fantasy for that moment. And then you get back home and I recognize this probably in my early 20s after that whole incident, maybe I would say mid 20s, I would be like, I'm still the same. It's still me. I'm still here. Like this dress didn't change things. This didn't make it different. But the reason we're having this conversation now is because you did that live about social media. And for me, social media has this unbelievable effect where if you search on Amazon for a product, which I do for my clients a lot, and this is when I really pick this up, because I shop for things for them that I don't shop for myself. So it might be like a certain type of organizing thing, or, you know, something in a certain shade of blue that I don't buy. And then then I go to Facebook and it's in my feed. And I'm like, you see that? It's like instant too. It's like the second. And I think most people may not even recognize that. It'll be like, oh, look, there's that thing I was just shopping for. And rather than really addressing that, oh, they're watching and they know your shopping patterns and they're going to keep showing you. I don't understand how all of that works, but it's so interconnected where you don't stand a chance. If you have a weak moment of like, I have had a shitty day and I want to go and like feel better about myself, your Facebook feed is either going to make you feel worse about yourself or just dangle all the shit that you need in your life to make you feel better. And what I recognize about this pattern is it doesn't stop at social media. It's like it's in the traffic. It's like on every bus. It's on the subway. It's in your mail. It's in the magazines. It's like I don't get magazines. I went and got my hair done the other day. It's like, where is the article? It is all advertisements. I haven't had a TV in 11 years. When I'm in front of a television at someone's house, I'm like, oh my God, like just the pharmaceutical advertisements alone, like make me want to run and scream. So there's this, I don't feel that people really understand how much they are bombarded with, you need this, you need this, you need this, when you don't. And, you know, yes, we all have necessities. And I'm not one to say you don't deserve to buy yourself something pretty. Please do. Go buy something to make you feel good about yourself, but then take some shit out of your house. Like it's that one in, one out when you get into that habit of like you have a maximum capacity, and it doesn't mean when you're creating mazes around boxes in your house. You are living a life that feels open and free, and you're not, you know, just waiting for the next UPS delivery or the next, you know, time that you see that ad or like, oh, my package didn't come, because that's the other thing. That's the other little peak. Like the package arrives and then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm back again. Now,
and now you have all the garbage to clean up, like, you know, and all the little pieces of popcorn and everything. Unbelievable.
Well, that's the stuff, you know, there's a company called Vitacost, and not to call them out, but like what was really interesting is like I get stuff from them because it's all healthy type stuff, all my healthy foods, and it's better pricing than Amazon and everything else. Started using Vitacost. On the outside of their box, they're like, we only use good packaging that biodegrades and whatever. And it's like, that's actually bullshit, because inside anything that could leak is in a Ziploc bag. And I'm like, what about this plastic? And so that's the other thing I do want to address with like the shopping thing is also about convenience. Everything we do about convenience.
Totally.
Ooh, God, like what are we doing to our poor earth? And that is like, I don't know how to fix that, because I need the convenience of those things coming to my house. You know, I was getting a certain probiotic that has to be refrigerated. And then when I saw the packaging it came in, I was like, I can't do this. And so I talked to my nutritionist and she's like, here, you can get this one that doesn't have to be refrigerated. Mm-hmm. So those are choices I'm making and I need to keep making, but I feel like there are people walking around there in a fog, just like, here's my credit. I mean, how easy is it to just, your credit card's locked in here. You just send Venmo or PayPal, or, you know, like it's so easy that we're just getting lost in like, why am I shopping? Mm-hmm. How do I feel right now? Am I trying to fill a hole? You know, is this about my feelings or is this a true necessity? And that's something that I think the second you stop and identify it and create that awareness in your purchase, you'll get a like, oh yeah, I don't need this. I mean, I used to walk around with armloads of clothes in the store, see the line was like 5 people deep, and I'd be like, I don't need any of this stuff.
Totally, I do the same.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I just was going to make my comment on malls. Like, I really don't like a mall. I don't like being in a mall. I hated working in a mall. And all the scents that come out of like Bed Bath and Beyond or that other one. I'm just like, how do you people function in here? It is like so sad, like the space and how we are all just stuck in this big mall together. And,
yes.
And I enjoy that shopping experience, so I don't go. And like you too, I'll have a whole whack of things and I see the line and I'm like, I don't actually need any of this. So why am I here? I love your little story too about boyfriend and like the one night stand and how
The one night stands?
Yeah, with clothing. Remember we were talking about this when you go shopping? I love this. I do that too. Okay, can you tell people, because it's hilarious.
So when you are shopping, it's like you're gonna fall in love over and over again, right? But like if you imagine this was like a store full of men you were meeting, they wouldn't all be worthy of coming home with you. Not everything is meant to be in your possession. Sometimes it's just your time together in the store. You have a little flirtation, you might try them on, right? And then it's like, thanks, I'm leaving now. And if you really liked them a lot, but you know it's not going to work in your lifestyle, take a photo of yourself in the freaking dressing room. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, I had those pants for 5 minutes and it didn't cost me anything. Because that's the thing, when I look at, and I hate to like pick on my hoarder, and I hate to even refer to her that way because she's a lovely, lovely woman, and I have had the time of my life working with her. Like I'll have to send you a video, it'll crack you up. But it's like I feel so lucky to be able to be allowed in the most vulnerable places of people's homes, and like just kind of like share with them and like why they have what they have, and not judging. Like I'm really curious.
Right.
And so this woman, like, I said, you should just like have a tattoo that says as seen on TV, because literally everything in her house is stamped as seen on TV. And I'm like, what like, I mean, we found boxes and boxes and boxes of things she never opened.
Wow.
And she's like, yeah. And she is smart. Like, that's the other thing. Like, she's like, oh yeah, I do the shopping at night when I'm sad and I'm lonely. And then the package comes and I just don't care about it. She's like, it's the night thing. So that's it's that really understanding that everything you love you don't have to own.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. Like, what is ownership? What does that mean? I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I think trying to come up with a way, because it shouldn't be the same for everybody. We all live different lives, and you know, I have now heard that minimalists are actually keeping themselves from living. And I thought that was really interesting because they want to like cut off all things. And so I'm not about that. I want people to enjoy and appreciate their lives. And like, there's always going to be new clothes, and there's always going to be new gadgets, and there's always going to be the latest freaking phone, right? And I'm not saying don't have those things, but you don't need to keep the old ones. You don't need to hold on to the things that you wore 20 years ago because it was a great time 20 years ago and you don't want to forget it. It's really being able, one of my favorite exercises is to look around your house and identify everything that you love and why. It's like, oh, I love that vase. It was my grandmother's. Oh, I love that other vase. That was my husband's grandmother's. Oh, I love those little shoes. This wonderful man gave them to my mother. Like all these little things, right? Then you look at what didn't you put on that list and why? And you might be like, ugh, my brother gave that to me. I never did like it. It's like, well, you shouldn't hold on to anything that makes you feel like that. So if you can start identifying your feelings with the things you're surrounded by, you will get much more clarity. And with the process that I do with people, we do an inventory of everything. And it doesn't sound as boring as that. I mean, it's informational. But when we go through every pair of pants you own, and I'm like, okay, so you've got 20 pairs of black pants. Like, even if you wanted to, you won't wear them because you're going to have your favorite pair, and then you might have your second favorite pair, and then you might have like the pair that you wear to the store versus the pair you wear out to dinner. I get it, but you don't need 20 pair. And what people don't understand is like that mass of clothing is like, you can't make decisions. Like how great is it when you're on vacation and you've got these 5 outfits to choose from, and like you love it because it's one of the favorite things you brought with you, and like you don't have to make all these decisions. It's like, here are my choices. And it's so much simpler, but people feel like, and again, it comes from, we have generations behind us who lived through the Depression, who like taught us to hold on to things and that you don't throw away, but they didn't have the ease of which to get all of these things into their lives. I mean, my grandmother was lucky to get an orange for Christmas and thought that was so spectacular. Well, that had to come all the way from Florida, which was a long trip back then. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, we can't live by our parents and our grandparents' rules. It doesn't apply. We can't keep up.
We are a changed culture, I tell you. It's just all about ease and convenience and stuff and have, and buy. And we really have to like withdraw ourselves from that whole messaging to like create the clear space that you do, and then also be able to take stock of the things that we have in our own space to be like, why is this in here? I know for myself, when I walk into like a show home, I'm always like, oh my god, I just wish my house looked like this. And then you're like, well, is it just because they have all these little pretty things that are out? Like, where do they put all their books, and where are all the like
where's the stuff,
right? Yeah. And I'm working through that too, because I keep all sorts of stuff, like letters that ex-boyfriends and stuff sent me when I was in high school. And sorry, I still have those. Yeah. Just if they're watching. And Brian and I were talking about that last night, because that the Mortified series, I forget what the name of the title of the show is, on Netflix, has been airing. We've been watching them where they read out like the journal and stuff that they have.
I don't know this. Oh, I don't know this.
Mortified Nation, I think it's called. Anyway, and Ryan's like, God, I wish I had kept that stuff, because he literally chucked it all out, right? And I'm like, oh, I have it. So I think there's like that piece where people are like afraid that if they let go of it, someday it's going to come up, or they needed that 70s dress, or they needed those something, and they're not going to be able to have it. So I think that's what the coveting is.
Sure. And I'm glad you said that, because there's a lot of people who, you know, they always say they're going to hold on to something for when they like lose those next 10 pounds or whatever. And I have to say, yeah, that's never going to be the thing you're going to want to wear when you lose those 10 pounds. You're going to want to go shopping. You're going to want the new stuff. Like, you don't want to get back in those pants that like are out of style. Like, you're going to want to feel good about it. But like, my box of letters was in my car and was taken. Like, I don't have the box of letters anymore. And sure, there are times that like I wish I could go through them. But what's funny is, so my husband is the boyfriend whose house I was at when that whole incident happened. Now he's got a whole bunch of cards and letters I've sent him. Mortifying. I wish he lost those. I don't want to read that stuff. I don't want to read who I was at 23, desperately trying to make this man stay with me. I mean, apparently it worked, but you know, it's like it was
myself like that. Yeah.
But it's really so interesting that like the lack mentality of like, I might need it someday.
Mm-hmm.
You can always find something else, and it might be even better. And that's the thing, like, you can get anything. And like, there was someone who was getting rid of a collection of some magazines, and he finally let go of them because we had transformed his whole space and he had a place for everything. And he's like, you know what? I just don't need these. And I'm like, and you know what? Someday when you live in a home and you have more space, you'll buy the whole collection on eBay and it'll be fine. Because that's the thing. We have access to all of this stuff now. If you really want to have it, I want you to have it. But if you're a collector, like, treat it like a collection. You've got to like make it archival. You've got to have it in good, you know, in a good space where you know where everything is. And that's part of it, is like walking through someone's house where there's just piles of crap. Mm-hmm. And then there's a closet that's a pile of crap. And then there's the junk drawer that's a pile of crap. It's only a pile of crap because it's a bunch of stuff mixed together. But if you sorted it, then you'd be like, oh, these books should live here. These keys should live in that drawer. And this should be thrown away. So that's like that inventory process of like really understanding what you have. And I have a whole method to it. But what I love about it most is then when you go shopping and you see the most amazing dress, you're like, I have 5 dresses that I haven't even worn. Well, if I buy this one, I'm going to get rid of that other one that I haven't worn yet. Like, you've got to that's how we create a life that is sustainable and like easy to live and makes your life easier. Because what keeps coming up is, you know, I find, and it started for me, I used to represent photographers for advertising work, and we were always working on their portfolios. And they're like, when is it? I just want it to be done. And I'm like, it'll be done when you're dead. Like, you have to keep doing it. And that's why people don't like the idea of organizing, because they're like, oh, I have to keep doing it. It's like, yeah, you always have to do your laundry. Like, I mean, well, you don't have to. And then you end up like my hoarder.
But like, if you want to stay in shape, you got to keep working out. Like, it's not like you get to just do it once. And I feel the same way with my closets and space. I'll organize it. But if I don't keep it up, it goes into a crazy nightmare again.
Exactly. And the crazy nightmare happens. My wardrobe right now is a crazy hot mess. And it's because it's been 70, it's been 20. It's like the temperature has just been fluctuating. And this is the time of year. And I woke up this morning and I was like, today I'm doing my turnover. And I'm just going to get rid of all the wool sweaters and all the corduroys that I'm definitely not going to wear and just pack them away because it's time.
Yeah.
But it's late, like this is later than usual for us. And I feel like that, but I don't mind doing it because right now when I'm like digging and digging and digging for a tank top, when I've got wool sweaters in the way, that makes me crazy. So for me, it's about efficiency and like how to get yourself in a place of success. I don't clean up every day, but everything has a place. So when the cleaning lady's coming on Wednesday, or she comes on Thursday, Wednesday night is when I like just tidy things up because I don't want to be blaming her for moving something, or I don't want to like wonder where something was because someone else came through the house. So
Right.
for me, it's about like, I need to know where these papers are. I need to know where this stuff is, and then focus on that.
I love
So
it.
it's really, yeah, it's like breathing. You got to keep doing that too, right?
Totally. And the other really great tip I got from my cousin who wants to own and starting a little organization business too is that she scrapbooks like all of the stuff. So, and not well, like she's not a well scrapbooker. It's like just very basic. But the idea is like to take a picture of the things, like say you really loved those CDs. Like I still have my 1990s CDs from like, high school. And I don't listen to them. I'm never going to listen to them. I'm probably never going to import. I don't even have a CD player in my computer. So like really keeping these is ridiculous. But if I need to take a picture of them to know that I owned this one day, like whatever that's about, and put it in the book, then I can get rid of the stuff. I actually really like that idea. So,
well, I think, aren't you moving soon?
I am, I know. So this is why this is so imperative.
This is the time, girl. And I'm telling you, don't say, oh, I'll deal with it later. And I know moving is crunch time and you got a million things to do. Now is the time. Because if you bring it there, it's going to live in a box in your basement or wherever else you're going to put it. So
I really want it to be a clean space. So that's important to me. Like clean, clear, cluttered, uncluttered, space.
Yeah. So, but this is the time. I'm going to be checking in on you.
Time. Okay, good. And just you tell, we've gone a little over time, so we'll wrap her up. But how can people come work with you? And you want to talk a little bit about your newest creation?
Newest creation. So my website is clearspacenyc.com. You can check out work I've done and before and afters. And also I am about to like restart my newsletter because the book I've been working on since October, I thought I'd get it out in 4 months. I was kind of crazy. But I'm in the editing process. So I'm hoping by end of summer, it'll be coming out. And this isn't like a spring cleaning book. This is consciously creating clear space. So with consciously creating clear space, it's about how your purchases not only affect your life 10 steps down the road, but the planet at large, and really kind of taking accountability for like, you're here as a guest on this earth. How are you treating your stay? And how can you improve upon that? Because wishing and praying that plastic will go away, I've learned, is just stupid. But what I can do is I can choose not to use the plastic straws, not to use the Ziplocs, and find alternatives. And that's what I'm really hoping people will get from this book. And also learn how to live I will have instructions. I will have a workbook to go with it. So if you're ready to let go and live with less, it certainly will be a tremendous help for everyone.
Yay, I can't wait. And so people can find you online, and can they work with you online, or are you?
Sure. Yeah. I've worked virtually with people. It depends on the person. Like they've kind of got to be motivated and ready to go. But I do travel. I have had people fly me out to places to work with them as well. I'm quite flexible. I love traveling. So it's always great if someone wants me to go somewhere. Bali, anyone in Bali,
yeah,
come invite me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll have you to Vancouver, aka the island, soon.
Yes. So great to see you. And thank you so much. And I wish you guys a very speedy and easy move.
Thank you so much. And I hope everyone out there got a little bit lit from this conversation. Go clean up some stuff.
Yes. Thank you so much, girl.
Okay. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay. So that just